Lesson 12 for September 14 through to 20, To Love Mercy, read by Dr. Percy Harold. Friday, September 20. From the book Thoughts from the Mount of Blessing, page 137. Search heaven and earth, and there is no truth revealed more powerful than that which is made manifest in works of mercy to those who need our sympathy and aid. This is the truth as it is in Jesus. When those who profess the name of Christ shall practice the principles of the Golden Rule, the same power will attend the gospel as in apostolic times. And from the Acts of the Apostles, page 551. Supreme love for God and unselfish love for one another. This is the best gift that our Heavenly Father can bestow. This love is not an impulse, but a divine principle, a permanent power. The unconsecrated heart cannot originate or produce it. Only in the heart where Jesus reigns is it found. This love, cherished in the soul, sweetens the life and sheds a refining influence on all around. And that brings us to our 4 discussion questions for this week. As we have seen in this week's study, the gospel continues to be the template and motivation for acting on behalf of others as Jesus acted on our behalf. How has this expanded your understanding and appreciation of the good news of what God has done for us and how he shows his love for us? 2. Raising our voices for the voiceless, engaging in peacemaking and similar activities may draw us into public and political arenas. However, the Seventh-day Adventist Church has been a champion of the separation of church and state. What is the difference between inappropriate political involvement and speaking up and working to make peace in public ways? 3. What one step or action discussed in this week's study would you like to take in your life and community? How can you make it happen? And 4. What issue of evil and depression have you decided to pray for in your community or in the wider world? And to summarize this week's lesson, becoming a follower of Jesus will change our lives in many ways, including producing in us a passion to join in with God's active concern for the poor and downtrodden. Never an easy task and rarely popular, this will change our priorities and motivate us to take active steps to heal the hurt in the world around us. Inside Story. Our mission story this week is titled U.S. Biker Embraces Sabbath, and it's by Andrew McChesney of Adventist Mission. The invitation startled Richard Smith as he stopped at a senior centre to collect meals to deliver on his Harley-Davidson motorcycle to retirees in the U.S. state of West Virginia. "Would you like to go to the Seventh-day Adventist Church with me?" asked Ruth, who also worked at the senior centre. "I don't know," Richard said. "I don't know anything about the Adventist Church." Richard, 72, had visited various Sunday churches during 2 marriages and 2 jobs, but he had never been baptized. He didn't know which church to join, and he often thought, if God wakes me up one day and says, "Go to a different church," I want to be able to pack up and move. So, when Ruth invited him to church, he replied, "Let's try my churches first." He asked Ruth, a divorced nurse 6 years his junior, for her opinion after visiting a church together on Sunday. "If I just wanted breakfast, it was good," Ruth said about the church's donuts and fruit juice. In reply to his query after the second church, Ruth noted that the pastor had spent much more time on the announcements than the sermon. Ruth's observations gave Richard a new perspective, and he finally agreed to go with her to an Adventist church. Soon he began to ply its pastor, Bill Hunt, with questions about the Bible, and the answers amazed him. "It was like I had this veil over my head," Richard said. "I could see through it, but everything was kind of hazy. Bill yanked that veil off my head, and I said, 'Wow, things are as clear as a bell.'" Richard also shared a common interest with the pastor. They both are bikers. Then the pastor invited Richard to attend an evangelistic series, one of 35 evangelistic series in West Virginia that were funded by a 2015 13 Sabbath offering. Richard attended with Ruth and was baptized. In all, 8 people were baptized into the 2016 meetings at the Huntington Church. Today, Richard, pictured left, is 72 and sharing his love for Jesus with anyone who will listen. "The Lord takes such good care of me, and I think, why?" he said. "I know he takes care of everybody, but why? It's like I am sitting down at the table, looking at my plate, and everything on it I like to eat. What more can I ask for?" This Sabbath I expect to be at the South Queensland camp in Australia, just north of Brisbane. You may be able to watch some of these programs live on livingministrymedia.com.au. That's livingministrymedia.com.au. Living Ministry Media is one word, or look up LMMSA, and that will guide you there. Most of the major meetings are being broadcast, and you might even see my face there introducing some of the programs. You have been listening to a reading of the Adult Sabbath School Bible Study Guide by Dr. Percy Harold from Queensland, Australia. This service is brought to you by Hope Channel, the Sabbath School Department, and Christian Services for the Blind. Remember, God is always faithful.